Hi guys, welcome back to another Bourbon Santa video. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do all inexpensive budget bourbons. We're going to taste them up against each other and see which one I think fares better. These are all in the 20 or under category. The first one is going to be Ezra Brooks, 90 proof, bourbon of course. The second will be very Old Burton, which is also 90 proof. The third will be Early Times, bottled in bond, 100 proof. And the fourth will be Old Tub, also bottled in bond. And that one's a Jim Beam product. So, I'm excited and a little scared, but let's do this. Ezra Brooks first. Color's nice. The lightest out of the three is the very Old Barton. I gotta tell you, I've been pleasantly surprised by this Ezra Brooks. This is the first time I've had it in a long time. Several years. This is the first time I saw it sitting on the shelf in several years. And same thing with the very Old Barton. I was surprised to see those again. They're not distributed down here very widely for whatever reason. But the first time I tasted this Ezra Brooks after so long, I was like, oh, I don't remember it being that good. So on this, I'm getting all of your dark caramels, your brown sugars, all of your really dark roasted sweet flavors. They've got like a really dark tint to them, like they're burnt, almost burnt sugar, brown sugar. Maybe some burnt molasses a little bit. There's a hint of almost a circus peanut. There's an artificial sweetener that's there. And a hint of nuttiness, but almost like the smell of what's left on your hands after you eat a handful of peanuts, just the little crumbs. It's the smell of that. I'm picking up a little salt, probably again, memory thing with the nut flavor. The artificial sweetness almost presents as like a circus peanut, but not quite. It's close. There's a bit of plastickiness, a chemical kind of feel. Let's try it. Okay. It doesn't feel super cohesive. It like has like a herky jerkiness to the flavor. You start getting these nice developing flavors, and then there's a spike, and it catches you in the mouth and in the tongue, and then as it's transitioning to the finish, it starts into a really nice finish, and then there is a spike that gets you in the chest, and it's not like a hug, not like a Kentucky hug from the heat of it. I mean, it's only 90 proof. It's like a ethanol spikiness that just kind of pops up and jumps out in different parts of the tasting experience that relegate it to a bottom shelf. So I'm still not sad about it. At that price, it's good for that. All right, let's move on to very Old Barton. Okay, now immediately this is lighter on the nose. Much lighter. This is more honey, while the Ezra Brooks was more brown sugar, molasses, burnt caramel, dark flavors. This is a lot lighter flavors. It is lighter in the glass, but only slightly. This is more wood is showing up here. There's more, like, I can smell the oak and honey. It's like honeyed oak. This one also has a slight nuttiness to it. Of course, you get a little bit of corn dust there too. But it's almost like, have you ever had a sandwich with peanut butter and honey instead of jelly? This is that, except the bread is a piece of oak. This too is lighter on the flavors. I'm surprised that these are both the same proof. This feels much thinner. This feels more watered down. It almost tastes watered down. Yeah, this is a lot thinner, and I like this less than I like the Ezra Brooks 90 proof. Yeah. See, that's thin. I mean, that would be a great summer bourbon to sip while you're barbecuing some wings or something. Because it is easy to drink. It feels watered down though. Ice would wipe this out. You're just gonna be drinking water at that point. Yeah. It's very easy to drink. There's none of that spikiness that was happening with the Ezra Brooks on the palate. None of it's jumping out and poking anything. It just goes down like water. Let's move on to Early Times. This one is not available in my area. This one I have to have friends of mine ship it in to me from up north. They don't distribute Early Times here in Florida. But this is a great budget bourbon. This is French toast, syrup on top, powdered sugar. There's caramel happening there. I'm visualizing French toast and like dessert treats. There's a chocolate note, like brownies, like brownie batter. And even though this is 10% higher alcohol than the first two, this one's nose is less spiky than the Ezra Brooks. This is not alcohol forward. It's deep and rich. There's a buttered corn kind of note, almost like corn on the cob. The smell of it with the butter. Every time I come back to this, I get more and more things pop into my head. I just was getting buttered toast, like nice Texas toast, toasted on in the toaster oven or on a grill, and butter melted on top. I do get a honey note in here as well. I don't get any artificial sweetness. I don't get any artificial flavors. I don't get plasticky chemical notes. All right, let's dive into this one. Oh, the cherry shows up on the palate, not on the nose. On the nose, I was getting very, very little or to no cherry. On the taste, that's one of the biggest things I got was a nice big cherry note. The cherry's there. The breadiness is there. The corn. Almost, have you ever fed animals like cows, whole corn, or chickens, whole corn? When you're dumping the whole bag of whole corn into a big feed bin, there's corn dust that kicks up. And when you breathe it in, you get the feel of the corn dust in the back of your throat. And I get that on the finish. That heavy corn dust that I've just breathed in, I get that on the finish with this. It's just right there. Being a farm kid, that's the kind of stuff I relate to. Oh, sweet. Just, that one is my favorite so far. Now let's go to Old Tub. Old Tub is a new release this year from the Jim Beam Distillery. It's a throwback to the way that Jim Beam made whiskey long ago, a brand that doesn't exist anymore, Old Tub. It existed in that they sold it from the distillery, from the gift shop, and this year they decided to bottle it and sell it to the public. So this was the first year that I had ever gotten to try Old Tub, and these are pretty cheap and readily available here anyway. Now, on these, this is a nut extravaganza. I get mixed nuts, planters, mixed nuts, salted, planters, mixed nuts. Crack open the can of mixed nuts, smell that, that's what's in this glass. There's almost like a layer of peanut butter underneath all those mixed salty nuts. Other than that, there's not a whole hell of a lot jumping out of the glass. Maybe some caramel, maybe a little bit of sweet brown sugariness, but it's one or two notes. And this reminds me a lot of a watered down Booker's. It makes me wonder if that's exactly what they did. Let's try it and see. Now, I will tell you that what this lacks on the nose, it makes up for on the palate. The palate is syrupy. It's making my mouth water right now. I had to swallow like twice after I just sipped that. It's not super packed with flavor. It's just really pleasant. It's just really smooth and viscous and just creeps around all over your mouth and gives you a nice happy note everywhere without giving you a lot of complexity, without giving you a lot of different flavors to play with. It still hangs out very nutty on the nose. It's a little bready now that I go back to it after tasting it. It's a little like fresh baked bread. It has a little bit of oak bitter that dings you right towards the end of the palate, right going into the finish. But it doesn't have a lot. There's not a lot going on. It's very simple. It's very just okay. It's not a great bourbon. It's not one to seek out and save. If this goes away next year and this is the only bottle I ever get, I'm not going to cry about it. But it's all right. And it's good for, again, like the very old Barton, if you're hanging out busy, you're not exploring, and you just want a nice, decent bourbon to drink, Old Tub's going to work for you. So out of these four, my favorite's Early Times. It's the most complex of the four. It's around $20 where you can buy it. Old Tub's about $20 here. Very old Barton was $15-ish, $16-ish dollars. And the Ezra Brooks was $13 here. So they're all, right within the same ballpark price-wise. If I'm going to pick one, I'm picking Early Times. Because even if I'm hanging out and I'm busy, I still want to be able to talk about notes with my friends. I still want to, catch those things on the nose and discuss them and have fun with that. I'm never too busy for geeking out about whiskey. Oh, yeah. So much more complex on the nose. So much more going on. I'm almost getting a slight... It's almost a banana note, but like a banana split with chocolate ice cream and like caramel syrup. And the French toast is still there. Early Times for the win. Oh yeah. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a great day.